Good morning all. My name is Ankit Kumar. I am working as a principal geophysicist in BC Lab Asia. Also, I am heading reservoir characterization department in BFA. So today I am going to discuss or share the deep water experiences, deep water project experiences, what we conducted from in BC Lab. We'll share the challenges and the solutions what BFA can provide for the deep water explorations. So let me share my screen. So in today's discussion, we are going to share the deep water exploration challenges, understanding for the deep water challenges, then what BC Lab can provide as a solution, as an integrated solution for these challenges, and our global experience, especially focus on deep water projects. And then we will wrap up this session with some case histories. So regarding understanding of deep water, it can be in different domains. The definition can vary from domain to domain. So in geological definition or in geological domain, what is deep water basically? The clastic sediments which transported beyond the shell phase into the deep water through a gravity flow processes, and then it deposited in the slope or further into the deep water basin, and then later they buried and become a part of basin phase. So here we can see the different architecture elements in these deep water processes, like the slope channels, then channel levee complex, turbidite flow, and then further translated into the low. In terms of engineering definition, what we say, the deep water is basically as per the present water depth. So this is the present water, this picture showing the present water depth. And when we drill a well, which is, let's say, more than 500 meters in the water depth, then it comes as in a category of deep water, or further, if we go further, then it is ultra deep water according to the engineering definition. Now, if we look a worldwide picture for the deep water basins, it is this picture is showing the distribution of these deep water basins worldwide, where it is distributed from Gulf of Mexico, offshore Brazil, West Africa, East India, and then further into this Asian region, Southeast China, Northwest and Southeast Borneo, Indonesia, deep water, New Zealand, and Australia. If we talk about BC Lab Asia experience into the global deep water, so this is the footprint for BC Lab in the global deep water project experiences. Here in this picture, you can see that we have a wide range, basically covering all over the deep water basins worldwide. So we can you can say that we have a good experience or a vast experience for the project, for the deep water projects throughout the global footprints. Especially focus on Asia side. So these are the regions where we have experience from field to basin scale. So which covering from Thailand, Indonesia, Oceania, Brunei, Malaysia, Vietnam, and especially focus to Indonesia. We have a regional experience of basin to field scale experience into Indonesia deep water. If we zoom more into the Indonesia deep water opportunities or deep water exploration, so the success of deep water exploration in Indonesia basically started with Red Besar and West Seno oil and gas field discoveries, which is basically in East Kalimantan, which is fed by Mahakam Delta. And then further, it developed these 7 oil and gas fields which are located into Kutai Basin. So this is a highly prolific area for the deep water exploration into Indonesia, which hold basically a 6 TCF of gas and 200 million barrels of oil condensate into the upper Miocene sandstone. Now, these deep water opportunities comes along with many challenges also. So to further discuss on the deep water exploration challenges, the challenges varies from surface to subsurface. So in this present discussion, we are more focused on subsurface challenges for the deep water exploration. And we can list these subsurface challenges with seismic imaging, geological model assessment, facies variation with heterogeneities, reservoir connectivity, topsoil assessment, and overpressure issues, contaminants like CO2, H2S, etc., their modeling and prediction, fluid contact and compartmentalization, porosity permeability, and ultimately hydrocarbon in place and aquifer strength. If you see the left side picture, which is showing a deep water depositional model from shelf, slope to basinal area, we can see the different architectural element associated with this deep water deposition, which varies from canyon to channel levee complexes, splays, and then seats and lobes. Now assume a line here in this area just to understand the complexity or the heterogeneity. So if we take a line from here and we drill two wells, one well here and one well here, so what you can see from the well to well, it looks a lithological correlation that we encountered this sand which is equivalent to next well sand. But in reality, if we see or if we assess the architecture of these different faces, we can see that they are not the same. Basically, they are disconnected here. So, meaning to say, in deep water, basically, we have a huge uncertainty which require or which has to be addressed through geological modeling processes along with integration with all available data. Now, this heterogeneity is not only for lateral, but as well as for vertical also. Now, the reason behind these challenges is basically we have a very limited data or few wells or few appraisal or development wells basically in the deep water area. And due to this limited data set, we need to make the most out of the existing data from different discipline or from different domains, seismic, logs, well tests, etc. And then as well as we need to integrate with nearby analogs or conjugate analogs and different modeling techniques. Then we have to assess the risk associated and need to capture the main uncertainties. And then we have different modeling approach through which we can assess or we can address different challenges, which we are going to discuss in upcoming slides. So to overcome these challenges or to address these challenges, BC FranLab Asia has this integrated solution, which we can summarize or which we can see as a top picture here in this slide, where we can assess from play definition, the regional tectonics and stratigraphy setting, to structural analysis, restoration, high resolution seismic sequence stratigraphic interpretation, sedimentology and sequence stratigraphy analysis, forward stratigraphic modeling, petrophysics and rock physics studies, seismic reservoir characterizations, and petroleum system modeling using integrated with geochemistry. In this slide, you can see these yellow highlighted text, which are basically our IFP patented tools, basically designed for different multidisciplinary studies. So for the structural restoration, we have the Chronos. For forward stratigraphic modeling, we have Dinosaurs. And then in much more advanced and more focused to the deep water, we have CATS modeling, which I'm going to further discuss more into this. For rock physics modeling, petrophysics, we have easy trace, seismic reservoir characterization, we have interval, and for petroleum system modeling, we are equipped with TEMS. So from these different multidisciplinary workflows using these different tools, basically we are addressing the petroleum system elements and their associated risk and uncertainties, which are listed here. Now, a bit more focus on the different modeling techniques, what DFA can provide, starting from forward stratigraphic modeling. So as I mentioned before, when we have a limited data, especially in the deep water exploration areas, we need to integrate all available data and come out with the geological integrated solution or geological modeling. Here in forward stratigraphic modeling, basically we are trying to recreate the depositional geological history by simulating sedimentary processes, structural evolution, and sea level variation. And then we by simulating all these different elements, we come out with a 3D grid in which we can assess depositional environment or different phases throughout the time, as well as we can generate different phases map, net thickness map, net to gross maps, and dominant phases. So this is a very powerful tool, Dynosis, where we can integrate all these geological processes and come out with an integrated solution. In other words, what we are saying that from a static interpretation on seismic, we are translating this interpretation from seismic with available well data, with available biostat, with available sedimentology information into a 4D dynamic grid. When we are saying 4D, the fourth dimension is basically geological time. So we can assess through the geological time all the different phases or all the different properties in this modeling study. Now this modeling study we can perform from field scale to regional scale, and further, since we know that modeling studies have some input parameters, and these input parameters can associated with some uncertainties. To overcome or to handle those uncertainties, geological uncertainties, we have a in-house tool, KugaFlow, in which we can assess the sensitivity or the uncertainty management of different input parameters. Now, one step ahead, as we are going into the deep water, and as we know that in the deep water, basically we are having this high density turbidites flow. So IFP has this special tool or advanced tool to simulate those turbidite systems. Now, exactly what we are doing in this CATS, basically, which is cellular automata for turbidite system, we are basically simulating the sediments flow with the paleobathymetries during the depositional time, and then we are trying to recreate the depositional model along the space. So if I play this video here, in this video, we can see the sediments are coming from the north side, and then as they are depositing or traveling along this bathymetry, they have this confined basin, and then they are falling into the unconfined basin. We are simulating these sediments as per their depositional and erosional behavior. So here in this middle picture, what you can see, the red colors are showing the deposition, as well as where we have these highs. So these are basically, we are modeling the erosional part. And if we zoom into this model, we can basically assess the net to gross or the phases variation along any area into this. So this is one of the biggest uncertainties into the deep water, to assess the faces associated with different architectural elements like channel, levee, proximal overbank, or distal overbank. Through these modeling processes, basically we can simulate and then we can come out with different scenarios to assess the net to growth into the different architectural system. The next challenge is basically in the regarding the complex tectonics, which most of the time we deal with. So in the complex tectonics, where we have thrusted or compressional basins or compressional area, basically our normal grid or structural grid for the modeling is not going to work anymore. And then we basically require a new simulator which can handle this irregular grid size in the modeling process. And that's why to handle the meshing or irregular grid, we have a tool called Kronos Flow, which is featuring a new grading technology within a single grid, but it continuously deformed through the time. And if I play this video, it gives us an illustration through the time how the tectonic is behaving through the time and how we can assess the structuralization and how we can model the properties along the faults like overburden, temperature, and heat flow, etc., which will greatly help into understanding of the structuralization as well as to answer or to reduce the uncertainties into the complex basins related to the fault shear analysis, related to the trapping mechanism, etc. Now, performing this unstructured mesh grid, then we can use those inputs into our basin modeling tool, which is TEMIS 3D, equipped with 3D.C flow, in which we can simulate different petrophysical properties like porosity, permeability, pressure, thermal conductivities, vitrinite reflectance, hydrocarbon saturation, transformation ratio, etc. And all these properties we can assess or we can simulate through the time with synkinematics along the structuralization. So this is a great tool to reduce the uncertainties or to address the challenges into complex tectonics. And finally, we can assess this hydrocarbon saturation and accumulation. Here is one of the examples from the complex tectonic area where we perform this study and then we come out with this hydrocarbon remobilization with the structure along with different timing. Now to illustrate these results, the green circles are showing the known fields which were already discovered and our modeling tools verify it basically. So it's kind of a calibration we give with the known fields. On top of that, we have identified this prospect which drilled into 2019 and they prove as a success prospect. On top of it, we identified some of the additional plays or new plays, carboniferous play, which need to be further investigated. Moving to next point in the seismic inversion or reservoir characterization side. So basically in seismic inversion and reservoir characterization, we offer different or the latest seismic inversion technologies in the market present, which ranges from post-stack to pre-stack to azimuthal to multi-component joint stochastic inversion up to geostatistical inversion. Now, in this picture, basically we are trying to show a workflow model-based inversion where we are taking input from seismic data, which can be post-stack, angle gathers, or angle stacks. We QC, we condition these seismic data. Then we perform this well log data, horizon interpretation, condition seismic velocities, and build the low frequency model by combining these two. And then we calculate this wavelet using all the well data and seismic data. And then we perform this model-based inversion. So here we are showing this pre-stack seismic inversion, where we can assess the outputs, P impedance, S impedance, and density cubes. Further moving into this, we perform the rock physics modeling using our in-house tool EasyTrace, in which we can build a different scenarios. We can perform AVO modeling, fluid replacement modeling, etc. And then we, after performing all these studies, we do this reservoir characterization. In the reservoir characterization, our ultimate goal is basically to achieve a different phases or net to gross maps or hydrocarbon maps, or saturation maps, porosity maps, or grids along the in the study area. Now, our key differentiator is basically an integration of all these modeling studies to come out with a integrated solution to reduce the uncertainties, or to come out with a more focused result, which can be summarized starting from forward stratigraphic modeling, which basically established tool from past 25 years in the industry, equipped with advanced modeling for the turbidite reservoir, which is I have explained as a CAT. Then we have this kinematic modeling, which is the only complex mesh system which provides a synkinematic modeling through unstructured mesh grid. Advanced QI, seismic reservoir characterization, which is integrated with FSM. And then advanced basin modeling, which is equipped with powerful pore pressure prediction calculators, which take care of all the chemical composition and diagenesis effect. And it is equipped with full Darcy simulation, which by which we able to simulate this lateral to vertical migration. So the next segment of this discussion is some case histories or case studies. The next and last one, what we want to share today is deepwater offshore Brunei, where we model this turbidite reservoir. And here you can see in this left side picture, we simulate the sedimentation coming from Baram Delta side, and then we able to simulate these, be able to recreate the geological history of this area, which translated into canyon to channel levee system, further into turbidite lobes, which again calibrated with or integrated with our high resolution seismic mapping and come out with the spectral decomposition map. So this particular attribute map, the spectral decomposition map, we are looking from this area here into the red box, where we are able to see all these detailed architecture channel levee complex into this area. One more step ahead into the CATS modeling, we perform the CATS modeling here for this turbidite reservoir, through which we able to capture the heterogeneity into the reservoir. So as we know, into the deep water system, different turbidite reservoir having the different architectural element, and different architectural element have different net to gross ratio here. So on this right side, what we are looking basically the simulated flow through the time. So it is started from step 1, 2, 3, and 4. So ultimately in the fourth step or the final step of this turbidite event, we able to simulate this channel architecture and its associated phases. So then we can assess the net to gross or the lithology variation or the phases variation in this turbidite reservoir system. This is the workflow for the CAT simulation, and ultimately be able to get the lithology variation and sedimentary distribution. That's all about what we want to share as a case histories for today. And to wrap up the session, as a summary or way forward, basically what we are trying to say that we, DSIP FriendLab Asia, as a multidisciplinary team, where we integrating geology, geophysics, and reservoir engineering domain by using different modeling techniques or tools. What I have explained you: Dynosys Pro, Temis Pro, Chronos, CATS, which are leaders in the exploration market. And we have a long experience in with a variety of geological settings and unique capacity to integrate many disciplines into the exploration geoscience. This is the key message from our chairman, Dr. Jane Burus. And thank you all for listening this session. Thank you. Thank you very much.